Hi, my name is Emily Eberly. I am here to talk about Our Little Haven, was the organization I chose for my presentation. I'm going to go ahead and just start by reading their mission statement so you kind of get an idea of what they are all about. Our Little Haven is relentlessly committed to providing early intervention services for children and families. Our community of professional caregivers creates a safe, secure, and healing environment for those impacted by abuse, neglect, and mental or behavioral health needs. We make the hurting stop, the healing begin, and the love last, one family at a time. Our Little Haven is invitational, not expectational, and the organization invites the community to help serve these children and families. So basically, the goal of Our Little Haven is to provide early intervention for these children and families who are suffering from abuse, neglect, mental or physical issues, behavioral issues, things like that. They have really three core programs that they provide. They have the foster care case management, which is at the Taylor Family Center. And then they have the Keystone Mental Services. And then they have their Our Little Haven Therapeutic Preschool. So those are kind of the three main programs that they provide and offer to these children and their families. So I will just give you a little history. In the early 1990s, Scott and Kathleen Hummel, who were both husband and wife social workers, they wanted to create a sanctuary for children in the St. Louis area who were suffering from abuse, neglect, abandonment, and trauma. They really saw a need for it in the area, for something to provide care these children with special needs, during those really formative years. Little Haven actually started in 1993 and has grown into a thriving faith-based organization housed in a 3-building complex in the Central West End. Starting with one program that served 30 children per year and with an all-volunteer staff, Our Little Haven has grown to embrace 5 programs and a professional staff of 72. So I did go down to Our Little Haven. I just kind of saw the outside of the complex. It's kind of like 3 houses in a row down on Lindell in the Central West End. Really nice, really pretty area. The person they put me in contact with was Chris Munoz. He is the certified fundraising executive for Our Little Haven, and he was actually out of town, so I kind of just emailed him back and forth a little bit, and he helped me answer some of the questions that we had for the rubric. And so I'll just go through, I kind of answered the first one with the mission statement and the history, actually, and I'll kind of go over the funding. About 70% of the funding for Our Little Haven comes from donations, in part through grants from the St. Louis County Children's Services Keeping Kids First Fund, and the St. Louis City Mental Health Board Children's Services Fund. Our Little Haven holds 3 major fundraisers annually. They do a golf tournament, a dinner auction, and a fashion show. And then in addition to that, there's outside groups who sponsor several events, every year on behalf of the organization. So that's kind of where the funding comes from. Okay, so now I'll just kind of go through the questions. You guys, have these questions already, so I'm just going to say the number of the question, not actually read the question. But so number 2, these are Chris's responses. He said, we are located in 3 buildings at 4316, 4326, and 4330 Lindell Boulevard in the Central West End of St. Louis. We have foster care care management office on West Pine and a foster care case management satellite office in Jefferson County for cases that they serve there. He said we serve St. Louis City, St. Louis County, Jefferson County, Franklin County, and St. Charles families. Question number 3, he said we serve children and families who are dealing with the effects of trauma, abuse, neglect, and oftentimes challenges related to mental and behavioral health issues. We work with children during the early years of their lives. We call this early intervention practices. We also support the families who are caring for these children and all players that act on a child's life, teachers, friends, family, etc. Number 4, Chris said, yes, we are meeting the needs, meaning that they're meeting the needs with these services. He said we have a high percentage in reduction of symptoms and increasing of functioning. He said in our foster care case management program, we achieve a record-breaking placement percentage this year, helping children find permanent homes to grow, live, and love. For number 5, he said, as far as services marketed, Chris said word of mouth, pediatrician offices, schools, community organizations, and other agencies like Our Little Haven who are aware of the services that they provide. Many also find us through the website when they're researching for certain services. Question number 6, as far as how the providers learn about the services, Chris said that we make special presentations, attend numerous conferences and health fairs. We also have a community outreach coordinator who works to build relationships with school districts, community leaders, and other healthcare professionals in the community. So that's kind of all the general information in those questions that we had. So as far as the 3 programs that I kind of talked about before, I'll kind of just go over quickly what they each provide. So first they, and again, in all of these programs, the early intervention is really, the key focus. So for the foster care management, that's at what is called their Taylor Family Care Center. They offer case management services, things like providing service to children and families in the foster care system. They serve children from age birth to 21 years. They link families to community resources to assist in reunifying the family. They connect children to medical, mental health, and educational services, ensure safety and stability for children, and strive to connect children to lifelong permanent homes. They also offer medical case management services. They will review children's medical records, including immunizations, mental health, and dental history. They create plans of care to ensure ongoing health needs. They collaborate with primary care providers to ensure the child receives referrals to appropriate community services. Another thing they do is they work with St. Louis Partners to recruit, train, and license foster and adoptive homes for children in foster care. Foster and adoptive families are always needed for sibling groups, older children, children of minority heritage, and children with special needs. So, they really try to do their best to recruit those foster parents because there's just always, a very high need for those families. And, sometimes that can be a really tough thing to be a foster parent. So they provide the resources, the education and the training for those parents so they know how to deal, with these children that are coming into their homes who may have behavioral or, mental issues. So that is the foster care management. And then there's the Our Little Academy Therapeutic Preschool. The preschool offers treatment, therapeutic treatment. Therapeutic is a day treatment therapeutic preschool for children aged 3 to 6. The main goal is to address children's mental health through individual therapy with play therapy techniques, group therapy, social skills development, psychiatric services coordinated with Our Little Haven consulting pediatric psychiatrist. At the preschool, there is a consulting pediatric psychiatrist. There's a licensed psychologist. There's 3 educational therapists. At the master's level, there's a consulting speech and occupational therapist, all there to help these children. So the average length of the treatment is about 12 to 15 months, and They also provide weekly parent and family treatment to integrate natural foster and adoptive parents. And again, they provide that therapeutic treatment for children aged 3 to 6 who really just can't participate in those traditional educational settings. So that's the preschool. And again, with that preschool, the things that they're kind of addressing are like hyperactivity, temper tantrums, peer interactions, aggression, grief reactions, bullying, all stuff like that. So they're really helping these children to be able to kind of function in a normal educational setting. The third program is the Keystone Outpatient Mental Health Services. What this program will do is they provide an assessment. They will do a psychological evaluation for all ages and a number of referral questions, mental health screenings, developmental screenings, parenting assessments, bonding assessments. And once they do that, then they provide treatment for adults and for families with children 12 years and under. The treatment includes individual, family, and group psychotherapy, as well as parent education and parent coaching. Here, the problems they really address are depression, trauma, anxiety, school problems, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, defiance and rule breaking, family problems, all kinds of stuff. So again, that's another really great resource for these families. And again, with all of these, they had great brochures online, so I was able to kind of just print those right off of their website. And their website is amazing and really a great resource for these families, very user-friendly and extremely informational. So that's kind of just an overview of Our Little Haven. It's a really amazing community resource and offers, again, this early intervention for these children who are really in need. And so as far as my article, I found an article in a journal called The Future of Children. It's out of Princeton, and the article is called Promoting Health in Early Childhood. The author was Maya Rosen Slater. She's actually an assistant professor at the University of California, Santa Barbara. She is a professor of economics, actually. And this was just published in the spring 2015. Really, the article was a literature review of her kind of looking at different programs that provided early intervention for children, whether it be educational, nutritional, therapeutic, anything like that, and how, that early intervention really has an effect on your, success as, an adult, as far, economically, financially, socially, that kind of thing. So I kind of just pulled a couple things out of there because I wanted to find something that I talked about other programs, that maybe were like federally funded that are offered for, early childhood intervention, which, is what Our Little Haven is kind of all about. So really, I just kind of picked 3 programs that she talked about in her article that seem to have a really good effect on children at an early age. So the first one is WIC. That's the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children. You guys have probably heard of that. It's a U.S. policy targeting nutrition established in 1974. Serves low-income, pregnant, and postpartum women, infants, and children under 5. Participants get monthly benefits to buy nutritional food. They also receive education about nutrition, health, breastfeeding, and other resources. And the author said that early studies did find a positive association between WIC and birth weight. In fact, participants in the program were associated with a 10 to 43% reduction in the likelihood of low birth weight, which, on a side note, birth weight, low birth weight has been linked to, a tougher future, for children who suffer from low birth weight. There's a correlation. So that's just something that she wanted to look at. And then she also looked at family leave, just as far as, family leave as we know it. Usually you hear, 6, 8, 12 weeks a woman might get, after she has a baby. This is to provide time off from work so mothers can prepare and recover from childbirth, and take care of their newborns. In 1993, the Family and Medical Leave Act, FMLA, was enacted, mandating 12 weeks of unpaid job-protected family leave with continued coverage. This can allow a mom more time to take care of her sick children, breastfeed, and bond. So this is just another program that, it really stresses that early intervention, so that the mom is able to be with her children from the beginning, breastfeed, which, as we've learned in this class, is so critical, just for those, first months, to be able to be with your child all the time. It's huge. You can see if they're getting sick. You can, get to know them. It helps them mentally, developmentally, emotionally, everything. So I think that's really something our country probably needs to take a closer look at. And then another program was the early childhood care and education programs. These are programs that provide care and education to children at younger ages. This really parallels with what Our Little Haven is trying to do. The author actually talked about Head Start, which is something, a program you guys have all probably heard of. It's a federal program that serves preschool-age children and includes education, medical, dental, mental health care, nutrition services, and programs to foster relationships between children and families, and parents. So children who attend Head Start, the author stated, were more likely to graduate from high school, attend college, and have higher earnings in their 20s. So again, that's just, another program. There's a lot of these programs, but, I wanted to highlight these 3 just because I think they're kind of, as far as nutrition, early intervention with, as far as mothers and babies being able to bond, and educational. Those are 3 areas that are really critical for these children as they develop at these younger ages, the formative years, basically. So all in all, that, the author kind of stated that research points to a critical window of opportunity for improving children's life chances through evidence-based early life interventions. And she went into a lot of detail about how, economically and financially, early intervention can really make a really big difference in these children's lives. But I just wanted to highlight, a couple of those programs that I think, are offered, by the government, and they have a lot of similarities to, what Our Little Haven is offering as far as making sure that these children have, the resources available to them as far as education and medical and nutrition and, mental health services. So, again, really just pushing that, early intervention idea is really critical for these children. And, it's something our country really needs to look at, and, it will help all aspects of life. So that is the conclusion. And if you guys have any questions or are interested, you can look up Our Little Haven online. They have a really great website. They have a lot of volunteer opportunities, and it's just a really, really amazing resource for our community and these families that are really in need. So that's it. Hope you guys are having fun at clinical today. Bye.